Doom is upon us. Hey everybody, welcome to another NKY Market Moment. I'm Devin Cronin with Coldwell Banker.
Joe Vandenberg, preferred rate.
And Joe, doom spending. What is this? What is going on?
Yeah, right. Doom spending is this term coined for when I guess people now have just decided that things are so bad that there's not even any purpose in trying to budget or trying to plan, just racking up credit card debt and with the wing and a prayer that I guess it's going to be forgiven or everything is going to be fine or that the world's just going to end and it's not going to matter. So seems like
that is an interesting philosophy.
Yeah. Seems unlikely and setting up for a bad stage in the future.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess if you think about it historically, we've seen some pretty bad spells in markets, in real estate, and other things in the past. I mean, you can go back all the way into the early 1900s when we had the Dust Bowl, we had the crash on Wall Street, which ended up leading us into a very lean time. There was rationing. Financial markets were a disaster. Stocks weren't worth the paper they were printed on. But things changed, right?
They did.
And then you can look even more recently, which a lot of us, even if you're a younger adult, were alive in the early 2000s for, maybe Y2K. People went crazy then.
Sure.
But also the financial crisis of 2008, which is something that a lot of people have compared to what they think is going to happen in the market now.
Right.
And yet the fundamentals are different. So we're seeing inflation. I mean, it costs, the stat was just shared the other day that it costs $11,000 more today to buy a year's worth of groceries and essentials than it did 20 months ago. And while some people want to turn that into a political thing, it's a financial reality, right? But at the same time, we have all of these crises, the 2008 crisis, inflation now, and yet one thing is true. Time marches on.
Right. I mean, the pendulum always swings back. It's just the way, it's a tale as old as time. We might be, I wouldn't even necessarily call it, we're not in the middle of doomsday.
We're not.
And as you mentioned before,
there are no wars outside our doors.
Right.
Not that there are no wars.
Right.
But outside our doors.
Yeah. So kind of count our blessings as well.
Yeah. Markets are still running.
Yes.
Banks are still lending.
Boy, are they.
The last time I was at a grocery store, which, we have Kroger delivery, okay? So it's not like I go often, but there's still stuff to buy.
Sure.
Even if it does cost more. You can still travel, right? There are still houses for sale.
Oh, yeah.
All this stuff is still working. It costs more. I get it. There's worry. There's political upheaval. There's unrest in other parts of the world. But things are still working, right, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely they are. I mean, as you mentioned before, it's completely different than it was in 2008. If you're looking for a housing market bubble to pop, then you're going to have to wait for the next one because that's not what's happening.
Yeah. In fact, we're seeing housing prices continue to appreciate.
Yeah.
Even with higher interest rates.
Absolutely. High demand.
Because of low inventory and high demand. So I guess, though, I'm thinking not just people that want to buy houses, but as a pastor for 15 years, I help people all the time. People would come in when they were struggling, ask for food, ask for utility assistance. So I have a heart for people that are just in a bad financial situation as well.
Sure.
But it's one thing to be in a bad financial situation. It's another thing to go out and spend yourself into one on purpose, Joe.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. But I mean, I couldn't put rationale behind it if I tried. In fact, I think it'll create sort of a cull for society. I mean, in order to set ourselves ahead of this, then, now is the time to be more financially responsible. Mm-hmm. Now is the time to budget. Now is the time to prepare yourself for the future instead of just throwing whatever hope there is out the window.
Yeah. So, absolutely. And I'm not a financial expert or guru. You more so because you work in the realm of finances.
Wow.
But we're not investors in terms of financial planning and all that. But here's the thing, this too shall pass.
Yes.
Now, what it looks like on the other side, I think can be open for some debate and discussion, but it will pass and life will continue on. And so we need to put ourselves in the best financial position we can and not react in fear and panic.
Sure. Well, and here's the other thing. We can kind of forecast what it'll look like on the other side if you budget and behave somewhat responsibly as you can, really.
Behave responsibly.
But you can also forecast what it looks like if you rack up miles of credit card debt and, are partaking in this doom spending.
So basics, let's give people a couple of things to think about. First of all, it's a good idea to have a budget, right?
Absolutely.
Now, there are online tools. I use NerdWallet for free just to kind of help me. I put my stuff in and it helps me track my net worth, helps me track, my bills coming in, money going out, all that sort of stuff. There are others. There are apps out there like Credit Karma, which is not what you want if you want to buy a house, but these are usable systems. You don't have anywhere else to start? Call us. I'm a certified credit specialist agent. I can help you walk through the basics of credit report. Of course, Joe deals with this all the time, right?
Absolutely. One of the first things we'll end up doing is doing a soft pull on credit. It won't have any impact on your credit score, but it at least gives us a window into, what's going on, just the whole situation.
So we can start with just hey, here's your situation. Here are some basic things to look at. Here are some things that you may want to consider. And then, Joe, we know professionals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like any area of touching housing market, we know financial professionals, investment professionals, people that can help you if you're in crisis. Like we even know credit repair people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I use that term very carefully because there's some bad ones out there, but there's some good ones who really want to help people fix messes that they're in.
Yes.
So if you need some help and you just I don't know what to do, I've got myself into a hole, but I don't want to stay in this hole and I don't want to live in fear and panic. I need a plan. Joe, who are they going to call?
Feel free to give me a call at 513-907-2530. We're Devin here.
962-7978. We will talk to you. We'll get you started. We can point you in a basic direction. We can give you some free resources. We can give you some insights, and we can connect you with some professionals. But the biggest thing is simply this. Don't panic. Don't panic, because it looks like tomorrow's coming, folks. So you want to be in the best possible position when it does.